Welcome back to the Jonestead. I'm Mary. Today's Tuesday, November 11th, 2025. And also today is Veterans Day, of course. And I want to say thank you so much to all of our veterans out there and greatly appreciate your service to our country. And now I'm going to get to some stories that I wanted to cover. On Saturday, Bill Pulte, head of Federal Housing Finance Agency, announced that the administration is working on making 50-year mortgages available. And when I read this, I thought, well, this is nothing more than perpetual renting under the guise of home ownership. And it does not address the underlying issues in our economy and the inflation and how much, and then of course the increase in inflation and the devaluing of our currency. But they have, unfortunately, you have people are looking more at what the monthly payment is going to be and not what the cost is going to be. And that's how they're making their decisions. And when you go to a 50-year mortgage, you're in debt longer. It's going to take you longer to get equity in your home. And then if you have to move, you're just kind of snowballing that and carrying that. And it's really just not a good place that we want our citizens to be in, because then again, you're taking so much longer to develop any equity in your property. And if you have to go to a 50-year mortgage in order to afford a home, then maybe you might want to look at a less expensive home, and be a better idea, better decision, and from my standpoint. But it carries over. It shows what's happening with our economy. And also, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of people where some of it is keeping up with the Joneses, but I think a lot of it is when they're looking at their finances, they're just saying, well, look, I can afford this much a month in a mortgage payment. And so if they can do that in a 50-year mortgage, they're going to do it. And Trump was on Laura Ingraham, and she asked him about it. And he said, well, you could do a 40, you could do a 50. People just will pay less every month if they go with a 50. It's definitely, I don't think it's a good direction to be going in. There was something else he said on Laura Ingraham last night too that I'll talk about a little bit later. But as I said, this is happening moving into the auto industry. More car buyers are stretching out their auto loans, but longer terms comes with trade-offs. Again, you're in debt longer, and I know we're in a situation now where people can't save up $5,000 to buy a used car, but they can come up with, say, $1,000, and then they can afford whatever the monthly payment is on a $30,000 car. It's kind of the way things are these days. It doesn't make any sense. But this used as an example, if you go, the average new car is around $50,000, and for a $50,000 new car with a 10% down payment and the current average percentage rate of 7%, the added cost looks like this. At 84 months, your payment is $679, but you also are paying $12,000 in interest versus 48 months, $6,000 in interest. So you're almost doubling the interest payment if you go with the 84-month payment plan. And then again, as I said, these are all symptoms of an unhealthy economy, and Americans are really struggling. And we have a K-shaped economy, and you have very wealthy, and then you have people working really hard, and they're really struggling to be able to make ends meet and they're living not even quite paycheck to paycheck. And it says here, more Americans are financing groceries with buy now, pay later loans, and more are paying those bills late, survey says. This is a Lending Tree survey. And then another kind of an indicator of what's going on in the economy. And the reason I talk about this is not to be doom and gloom, but so that people are aware and so that they can better prepare, and not just think everything is glossy and everything's great. Because if you dig in and actually look, there are a lot of things to be concerned about in the U.S. economy. But this was BlackRock, and they were exposed in the Tricolor bankruptcy. But it says BlackRock faces 100% loss on private loan, adding to credit market pain. And it says BlackRock Inc. deemed the private debt it had extended to Renovo Home Partners to be worth zero as of last week, a drastic revision from its previous assessment of 100 cents on the dollar. Renovo, a home improvement company, abruptly filed for bankruptcy last week, indicating it plans to shut down, with BlackRock holding the majority of its roughly $150 million of private debt. And that is gone. So BlackRock, private equity firm, lend them $150 million. They're filing Chapter 7. BlackRock's totally exposed in this. So this is yet another one of the, as they said, the roaches that are coming out out from under these financial failures. And then as I mentioned before, I was talking about how something Trump said on Laura Ingraham, I was baffled at last night. And she asked him about the extension to plan for 600,000 Chinese student visas, if he's continuing to support that. And I thought we were supposed to be focusing more on the American people and making America great again, and that we don't want all these we had Chinese spies, for goodness sakes. And now it said Trump argued that foreign students, particularly from China, are vital to keeping U.S. universities financially stable, adding that cutting the number of Chinese students in half would cripple the system. Well, good. From my standpoint, if that's going to cripple the system, then the system needs to be revamped. And as we have all seen, tuition, these universities, the tuitions are insane, are incredibly expensive. So, but this I don't understand. And again, I said before, I voted for Trump, but also just because I vote for somebody, if I don't agree with the direction they're going, I'll say so. This is completely counter to what I voted for. So I'm very disappointed in this. But I will end on a positive note. This article was in The Hedge. U.S. government agencies terminate 67 wasteful contracts worth $1.4 billion, according to Doge. And it says the savings were made through a combination of asset sales, interest savings, grant cancellations, minimizing fraud and improper payments, workforce reductions, and regulatory savings. And it says that Department of Health and Human Services ranks as the top agency that has registered the most under Doge. And I think we will see, after a lot of people have been digging into the SNAP program and how much waste and fraud is in that, I think you'll probably see more cuts in that program. Hopefully, I would hope so. And I will end with this. So that's a good direction to go, because according to our U.S. debt clock, our U.S. national debt is at $38 trillion, and it's continuing to go up. So I keep waiting one day to see that number start going down. And I know Trump's talking about sending everybody a tariff bonus, a $2,000 check. And I keep hearing about all this money rolling in from the tariffs. And why is it not going to pay our debt down? Why do we keep spending is my question. So anyway, I hope you all found this helpful and or maybe interesting. Please like and share the channel. I appreciate you all watching, and have a wonderful day. Take care.